What's up, YouTube fam? Today I want to talk directly to my infantrymen out there. Whether you're Army, Marine, one of those cool J-Tech guys, Special Forces, Delta Forces. If you've been on the ground, works in combat, and had to really do escorts, go through crazy missions, receive combat, I would like to talk to you guys about your experience and also share my experience when it comes to transitioning from that crazy lifestyle to transitioning back to being a regular civilian. So let's get straight into that. I just want to say to all the infantrymen, to all the special forces, to everyone who's seen some type of combat or anything like that, who were willing to put their life on the line for our country, or the ones who did put their life on the line for our country, much love and thank you very much for your service. Infantry is a Army specialization which personalized and engaging in military combat on foot, distinguished from cavalry, artillery, and armed forces. Distinguished because there is a difference. Also, as an infantry soldier, you'll serve in the field, working to defend our country against any enemy threat on ground. So, reasons why I joined the infantry: I was looking for a brotherhood. My great granddad was part of the Army, and he was a boxer for the Army, and I think his record was 50 something and 0. My great granddad would always talk about how no matter what race someone was, whoever he was fighting alongside, they were brothers, and it was amazing to see. And I did get that in basic training, but I believe that the nowadays Army is too focused on the dog and pony show and making sure they look good in the public eye, instead of making sure that we close with and destroy the enemy, to the point that they don't like people who are not yes men. It's okay that you want to rebel, but make sure you're rebelling for a good cause. I never rebelled for the fun of it. I always rebelled for things that made no sense. You're not going to smoke me if you're a humongous and fat sergeant. You should be an example to the ones beneath you. Secondly was I wanted to help others. I'll be honest, I did join the infantry thinking every person you kill is helping America, but then you come to find out sometimes their agendas are a little bit off. I got out because of injury in Iraq. I felt my leg snap while doing something dramatically stupid. We were doing runs in the middle of 130-degree weather and thinking we were so tough for doing that, even though we trained before we got over there. So that's my infantry in and out. I got injured and bye-bye. They told me they don't need me anymore. Always remember that. They are always ready to replace you. All right, while getting out of the infantry, I picked up bodybuilding and coaching, cheerleading and gymnastics. I had already done that before the infantry, so it was cool to get back to a calmer pace, but it was very hard to do. I'll be honest, in Iraq, none of our kills were by a gun, and a lot of people won't admit that, but some people go overseas and they see no combat at all. My truck was, I wouldn't say fortunate enough, but our truck got hit with something big enough to leave a dent in a Max Pro, and it got hit. We heard a couple shots fire off, and we tried to return fire, but we had a captain over us who was not infantry. He was like, "Nobody return fire, nobody return fire." The translator who was in our car, wow, man was so terrified. This man was talking about, "I think it's a sniper attack." I was like, bro, if this was a sniper, Border's head would have been done. Like, they have some of the best snipers over there, just as we do as well. But we had a guy who thought he was super country, he was super tough. When we got shot at, he froze up. It was hilarious. But shout out to my boy Abundus, because he was on the swivel looking for the enemy. We all seen it. Much love. And I was trying to get Border to give me the gun. I'm like, bro, give me the 50 cal. I'll level this whole town. Mostly because they shot at us, but that was an evil way of thinking, honestly. If we don't know exactly who we're shooting at, I shouldn't level a whole town. But that's what they train you to be, right? I also want to talk about how the infantry programs you. So in the infantry, when you first come in, you're programmed with straight discipline. I know that they're getting rid of Hell Week and Shark Week or whatever they want to call it. I don't understand why. I don't understand why we're mixing men and women in the same thing when it comes to infantry, because it's just not the same. A lot of things are going to change, or have changed, or are going to keep changing. And in all honesty, it's sad to see. When I went through infantry training, me and my boys were tighter than glue. The programming is super intense, I'll be honest. It's a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of going directly at your head, not caring about, how you feel, as long as you understand that you need to be good at what you're doing. That's the only thing that used to matter. when going through infantry basic training. Now it's all about, does the media see us in the right way? Do we have enough girls to please the media? Is there enough trannies in here? Are there enough gays? None of that should matter. Only thing that should matter is everyone here able to do the same amount of push-ups, pull-ups, the same amount of ruck, the same amount of time on a run? And if everyone's not equal for infantryman standards, then regardless of their race, regardless of their sex, regardless of their gender, regardless of what they go by in pronoun, none of that matters. They do not deserve to be in the infantry. We're supposed to be the toughest. We're right there on the front line. First call to defense. Infantry, follow me. You know what time it is. When you get that call, the only thing infantry says is, yo, my boys follow me, and you go, you wreak havoc, and that's the job of the infantry. Now, I want to talk about my time after basic training. Okay. African herb tea, chamomile, can't get no better than this. After basic training, I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which in infantry terms is being part of the big three. That means you're seen as royalty when you step out. When they see the infantry badge, they're like, wow, that's an infantryman. He's part of the big three. I was lied to. Being a part of the big three is amazing when it comes to deployment. Once getting to my brigade, I went to 1502 Bravo Company, which, if you know anything about the Black Hearts, there's a book about us. I thought I'd get at least an amazing command chain, because the first day there, they presented themselves as on point and only caring about their soldiers first. But later on, I found that not to be the case. Then when I got there, come to find out, one Pablo Abundis was already there. He had already made friends with Curtis and a couple other guys, Border, Sergeant Dis. Oh, Sergeant Dis is the man. While in the military, most of us always seem to find weightlifting, whether it's CrossFit or running or something like that, because you're literally getting paid to work out every morning at about 5:30. Me personally, I found bodybuilding. What came with bodybuilding? Good old steroids. Now, I only did steroids towards the end of my bodybuilding career, which was about 2.5 years, maybe 3. I will say that those things are crazy. It will mess up your hormones like crazy. The side effects are horrible. The night sweats, the bad dreams, the irritability. I'm not that kind of person. I wasn't that kind of person when I went through basic training, and I was only getting told to kill. And I still had such a positive outlook on life, but I could turn that trigger on so fast. And honestly, I didn't like that person because that person was a beast. I was just wild. It was wild. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. So I know a lot of infantrymen go through the same thing. And bodybuilding just amplified that. It got to the point where I was 220 and I didn't even show up to work. I tell a sergeant, once we got back from Iraq, I told them, don't talk to me. And he was like, who do you think you ever talking to? Bro, don't talk to me. I will. Your ego gets messed up with, especially with things like tren, 10 times stronger than testosterone. Bodybuilding, steroids, they go hand in hand. You don't have to take them if you don't want to, but you'll never be the best. You'll look phenomenal, but your health will be way better than average bodybuilding. So after I got done bodybuilding, I kind of got into a depressed state of mind. Exact same thing that happened after I got out of the military and came back from Iraq. And going into that depressed state of mind showed me my true passion. Like, what do you like doing the most? I'm always talking to the camera. I'm always behind the camera. I'm always looking at other people's edits, looking at footage, and I'm always critiquing it. I'm a director at heart, but I also love being the person holding the camera. I don't have to just direct. I can also be the filmmaker himself. And I also don't have to just be the filmmaker. I can also be in front of the camera. And because I like being around the camera so much, here we are at YouTube. Right after bodybuilding, I started male dancing as well as doing the fitness modeling. The fitness modeling, don't get me wrong, was mad fun, but male dancing was a different ball game. Male dancing involved me using my skills. I could tumble, I could roll my hips, I knew how to use sex appeal to my advantage, and so I started male dancing like every other wannabe jacked guy does. I got a lot of free travel, and it was my first time really getting to travel other than with the military. So I got to see a lot of America, which I'm very, very grateful for. Made me really understand that America is just as beautiful America is just as beautiful as almost any other country. With male dancing, I left for a lot of reasons. Drugs follow you as a male dancer. People look down on you as a male dancer, regardless of if a male dancer looks down on himself or not. Bad relationships, your ego and other people's egos. I had to always find time for myself while on tour to humble myself down, or to not bark at another grown man, because sometimes my ego was, you can destroy this person, you know how to do this, you have infantry training and you got super strength now, you might as well, these steroids could kill him. You know, that's how it feels. And then with other people, their egos are insane. Grown men fighting over women. If there's 500 women at a show, one grown man will fight you over another woman. Power trips, jealousy, favoritism. It's just like politics. It's no different from any other job. Yeah, that was my little transition from infantry all the way out to real life. I don't know how everybody else's transition is. If your transition was easier or harder, then let me know. I know right now one of my best friends, his name's Bo. He's a homeless man. You guys will get to know him because I have a couple videos with him that I want to do as well. And Bo was National Guard, I believe, in the Army, and he homeless, has a straight up drinking problem. Where's the drinking problem come from? There's nothing else to do. But we're working on that right now. We're growing and we're developing, not just the way he sees the world, but the way he sees himself, and understanding that he is worth so much more, and more than a bottle for sure. So again, all my veterans out there, all my action combat, MOSs, anybody who's seen any of that good stuff, from down all the way from infantry all the way up to Delta, Special Forces guys, all you guys, cool Air Force JTECs, big shout out to JTECs. You guys are cool, and for somehow all JTEC people grow the fastest beards on earth. But anyway, much love, keep God first. I pray that you guys find your way, whether you're in the infantry right now or on your way out of the infantry. Just know that somebody's praying for you, and I love all you guys. Arigato.